Oh dear, is the picture reversed or not? Well, hello, good evening, and welcome to my pain. My pain that happens very often. This time, my back. Yes, that's a good one, isn't it? Is it? No, it's not. It's a terrible one. I'm in study cooking some nice, very nice food indeed. But the trouble with that is exactly the same trouble as why I could never work in the post office. And that is, I can't just stand up without being in pain. So, how long should it take, stood up in front of an oven, to do some mash? How long? Because what I do with the mash afterwards is bung it into the oven. And you can't see any of this because I've already eaten it. And, it's very nice and all that, but it's all gone, except for a bit of pork that's left in there. And gravy. I did some gravy. And how long do you have to stand around whilst making gravy? Well, you'd think not very long. But the trouble is, once you stood there, you tend to stay stood there, trying to keep your eye on things. And although, right here I am, right in front of the cooker top here, I could use it like as a desk, couldn't I? So I could imagine I'm just being sat at a desk, and my work is actually cooking some gravy. I don't need to stand up at all. But what do? I stand up. I stand up, and I stand there, and I keep saying, oh, this hurts. This really does hurt. It hurts way too much. What am I going to do about it? Am I going to sit down? No, I'm just going to stand up and complain about it, aren't I? And that's what I've done. And that's why I'm sat here complaining about it now. But I'm figuring if I talk about it for long enough, maybe it will just go away. Just like my viewers are doing right now. Fantastic. Whew. Scratch my ears out. Will that make me hear any better? No. So finally, into the kitchen, where I have a bit of alone time. Front room doors closed. Girls are upstairs. They're a bit excitable tonight because it is their birthday tomorrow. So obviously they're all really, really overly giddy and everything, and it can be just a bit tiresome. But I can forgive them for that. Even Wilma, and if you don't know who Wilma is because you're not familiar with the dog, and because you haven't been watching the other channel, Wilma is a dog, our rescue bulldog, which I did consider having in here with me. But the trouble is, if I'm talking, she'll be looking straight up at me like this. And then before long, it'll be the... She'll start doing that. That is, at best, just a bit of a distraction. At worst, a lot of a distraction. Now, if anybody saw me yesterday doing a live stream with Mr. Steve Berry, you may well be totally blown away by how well he can start talking and not stop talking for 2 hours. It's that's the man I work with to make videos with. You imagine the efforts I have to go to edit that. It's tricky. But one thing he does say quite a lot, and he said it quite a lot the other day, is we don't ask you to like, we don't ask you to subscribe. But that's that channel. On this channel, it's different. And I am asking you to like because I want you to do. I'd like it if you did do, because if I get to, my game here is if I get to 27 likes in the live stream, then I can have a beer. I would really like one because, as it goes, I'm very thirsty. Now, as we are almost 5 minutes in, 5 minutes is, I see it, my introduction time. The time I spend just chatting away, saying hello to people. No, not saying hello. The introduction time, giving you a bit of time to come in and say hello, then I've got somebody to talk to. And those somebodies are indeed you. So, I'm going to put on the old spectacles now and prepare myself for reading out some of your comments. Hopefully some of them will be funny, some of them will be trolley. I don't mind a trolley. And oh, hang on, maybe what I should do is give these glasses just a little bit of a wipe. I'll wipe it down, wipe away the smears that happen, because how they get so dirty I really don't know. I mean, they just got my face. It's not like my eyes are leaking oil. But then I just did it then, right? I did that. I wiped it clean. Then I put one of my fingers on the end of it. And yeah, it's not too bad actually. Not too bad. Right, let's see who's here tonight then. Well, Project Nigel was here, of course, and that's obviously me. I'm not going to pretend it isn't. And then Peter P. Hello, patati po fanciers. I don't know what those are, but I'm sure that they are fabulous. I'm not sure if it's a misspelling or whether it's just a bit of fun with the words. A bit of fun will work for me perfectly well. And then the Greenwood of here, of course, Greenwood, my lovely friendly moderator who keeps things from becoming chaotic. Not that it has done for quite a while, but of course that could happen again at any point. The live stream I did the other day, walking home in the dark, that seemed to get lots and lots of viewers on the go. And that's one of the reasons why I thought perhaps I should come back to do this, as well as actually the place to do live streams is indeed this channel rather than the other one. Evening from my plate of toast with Marmite and Philadelphia cheese. I'm going to have to have a minute on that to decide whether that sounds horrible or not. Toast and Marmite. Yes. Toast and, well, I mean, full fat cheese basically. Yes. Cheese and Marmite. Yes. Cheese, Marmite and toast. Yes. Not sure about the full fat stuff. But then again, until you try it, you don't know. And I'm full of ideas of trying. In fact, the gravy I made tonight with my pork steaks was made from the pork steak itself, and onion, of course, and apple, and ginger, and cinnamon. No cinnamon. No, I didn't have any. But I did have coriander, and it was quite spicy. There were some other bits in there as well. Soy sauce, of course, a bit of mustard. It was actually really, really good. Really, really pleased with it. Pics not reversed, by the way. Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that now because it looks different on the phone to what it does on the monitor. And the monitor, what I mean by that is my tablet. Because if it was reversed, it would look the same on either one, wouldn't it? But it doesn't, which is good. I don't know why it was doing that for a while, and I'm going to refuse to be that bothered by it, to be absolutely honest. Andrew Buttigieg is here. He always says, hello, darling, mustard, Nigel, project, captain, keeper of Wilma. There's quite a few words in there, all irrelevant. How many of those could I really realistically have? Mustard, Nigel, project, captain, keeper of Wilma would work as one, so that's 4. No, it's 5. Darling, though, as in Captain Darling. I think that's where that's coming from, isn't it? Captain Darling of Blackadder. I presume that's exactly what you were thinking of when you called me that. Oh, Barry's here. That guy from SETI Alpha 5. Hello, Captain. Hope you and yours are okay. Yeah, we're okay. It's genuinely not me at Johnny Morocco. Where's Johnny Morocco? Right, so that means that even though I've got this on all chat, no, I haven't. I did have it on all chat and it went off all chat for some reason. How that happened, I don't know. So I've got a couple to miss. There we go, Johnny Morocco, who of course is a channel member as well. Comments keep getting removed. One of them is to just tell me to to Jeff off if there's a problem. Yeah. Well, don't know about that, but anyway, I've seen it now. Hello, everyone. Do you know Wilma? Right, Jonathan Angels. Do you know Wilma? Right. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for that one. And I'm very, very excited about tomorrow as well. 21 again. 21 again. How many times can you be 21 before you end up being 42? Well, once is the real answer to that one. And we should give up on trying to, worrying about how old you are, because being old is great. And I think actually the point where you start to accept being older is the point where you actually enjoy it. I mean, that sounds like such an obvious point, doesn't it? So you could say that anybody that is pretending, trying to give the illusion of being younger, or being embarrassed about their age, isn't happy about their age, and therefore not happy about themselves. So once you actually give up on that stuff, you will be happier. There you go. There's my bit of advice for the evening. Everybody take it on board, please. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, gosh, that was horrid, wasn't it? I'm supposed to do farts, not burps. Burps are unacceptable, aren't they? Nobody's going to be happy with that. Happy birthday, yes, and happy birthday to Greenwood, and, of course, a very happy birthday to the Lady Mustards, the mini mustards. Oh, and happy birthday to the one and only Trace as well. Very, very good of you, Andrew. My birthday snaps. Yes. Oh, Dan Peters is here. Hooray! Dan Peters likes to be in the live streams, but he very rarely happens to be because he's usually working or doing something important. The kind of thing that we should all be doing more of, possibly. Anyway, where was he? Hello, Captain Mustard. Hope you're well. I am well. I am just stuffed up with food. It was definitely not the best thing to do, was to fill myself with lots and lots of food and then roll around going, got too much going on in here and my back hurts. So what am I going to do now? I know. Why not do a live stream? Well, the trouble is, I'd already decided on the live stream and I wasn't going to change my mind, was I? No, I wasn't. Ash says, it's Jesus. Yes, it is. And don't forget that when Jesus comes back onto your vertical live stream, you have to suddenly change your ways, Ash, because you could land yourself in a whole deep pile of poo if you're not careful. So, think on about that. But welcome to the live stream. My question is custard cream or chocolate digestive? And that's a question from Dan Peters. That's a nice question. That's a nice question, isn't it? Nobody could possibly be offended by that unless the thought of custard creams or chocolate digestives make them feel physically ill. And if anybody says that's what they do, I don't believe them. So in other words, they're lying. So custard cream or chocolate digestive. No, it's got to be a custard cream. I don't think chocolate works on the biscuit. I mean, why? Why would you put chocolate on a biscuit? Chocolate belongs in cake, not on a biscuit. And anyway, if you're a chocolate digestive, means that it would ruin the taste of the Stilton. That's what I think. And I've got some in the fridge that I will open at some point. But I forgot to get some digestives. And the last thing I would do would be buy some chocolate digestives just in case. Imagine that. You buy chocolate digestives, so you spend a lot more money on them, and then you scrape off all the chocolate and give it to the dog, and then you put your Stilton on top of there. Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you're doing a live, Mustard, says Chris Bowen. Well, it's nice to be doing one again after quite a break. I hope you'll all understand, but it has been a bit tricky actually trying to do live streams as well as editing across 2 channels and even bits on this one as well. I'm trying to keep the Nigel channel properly going and having a constant source of videos on the go. But those videos actually take quite a long time to edit. Believe it or not, they do. But tonight, I've kind of got a night off from doing it because I've only just released to public a video about injection woes. Injection woes, yeah. Although I do have 3 sets of video things all on the go currently on my phone, ready for me to tackle. Yes. And one of them involves a rescue. Yeah, me doing a rescue. How about that? Feel bad for saying that. Don't tell anyone that I've done a rescue, because then they'll be anticipating something heroic going on, and there really wasn't. Oh, right. Greg Anderson's here. Hello there. Hello there, says Greg Anderson, and good afternoon, good evening to you, Greg, as well. Nice to have you here. Hi, Chris. Hi, Spotty. Hi, Spotty. Spotty Botty, of course. That's what you used to be known as, wasn't it? Emma Lemon is here. Good evening from the Lady of the Lemons. The Lady of the Lemons. I'm not sure that sounds like a good idea. Barry Pete, hello Emma. I was shopping the other day and see Marmite cheese and Lidl. Oh, is that like a type of cheese with Marmite in it? Or is it a sandwich with Marmite and cheese? Because they do, but have you ever had Marmite and cheese sandwich? Most people maybe have or maybe haven't. It's all right. But it's not one of those things where you find yourself desperately in need of very often. But one of the things, plenty of things go with cheese or Marmite. What I particularly like with Marmite is cucumber. Marmite and cucumber. Yeah. Or Marmite and tomato. Try that one. It's okay. Anything that goes on bread goes on potatoes as well. Have you ever noticed that? I haven't. Jamster. Jamster. Yes, I remember that name. Any plans for Christmas? Can I come over? Well, it depends on what my plans are, doesn't it? Because if my plans are not having somebody called Jamster come over, then probably not. I can't remember where you're from, Jamster, actually. Emmels, Peter P. You're starting to look like the hairy bikers, says Jamster, which is interesting because that means I'm looking like two people, not just one. Otherwise, you'd say one or the other of the hairy bikers, and I don't know which one it would be. I can't remember what they look like. I do remember they're kind of Geordie-ish, aren't they? One of them's not here any longer, actually. So probably the other one I'm going to look like. We've got 11 likes. You hear that there? That strange voice thing that happened. No, not good. No. 11 likes means I'm only 16 off being able to have a beer. Looking forward to that. Toast, Philly, Marmite, and yes, real butter, says the Greenwood. Absolutely banging. Wish I'd made more. Well, yeah, why? Why shouldn't it be real butter? I'm glad that more people are onto the truth about butter, that butter's actually not bad for you, rather than what it used to be with all the polyunsaturated stuff that actually causes inflammatory behaviour from your joints. My plans for this weekend, says Emma, this evening, like this. Poo, teeth, bed, sleep. That could be understood as a couple of different things, actually. I understand it as go for poo, brush your teeth, go to bed, and then go to sleep. So there's possibly one thing that you could leave out of that. You could leave bed out and just have sleep. And you're not going to leave the poo out because obviously, we wouldn't believe it was the real Emma Lemon unless poo was mentioned, would we? Greenwood says, yay, Emma mentioned poo in 8 minutes in. Yes. That deserves the poo prize, doesn't it? And the poo prize is actually a mustard fart. So, when I do a fart, obviously it gets awarded to whoever it was that made the most recent comment, but I'm going to divide it this time into whoever made the most recent comment and Emma for talking about poo in my live stream. Does that sound like a good plan? Oh, wow, right. Oh, Jamster, I'm not sure that kind of comment is really entirely appropriate, but you never know, it may well be welcome. Haha, Emma Lemon, Poo Bingo. I'm going to make that new feature on Emma Lemon Poo Bingo. I just like the name Poo Bingo. I think that's enough. Correct, Captain Darling, says Andrew Buttygig. Oh, well, thank you very much. I'm glad to have been correct about something. Oh gosh, the fetishes are starting early tonight. Yes, if that was the first of them. Mind you, the trouble is, if a moderator's encouraging them, then we're going to get more, aren't we? But we'll see. Has anyone planned what meat they're having for Christmas yet? Asks Dan Peters. And the answer is yes, they have. I'm sure lots of people have. And even I have. I'm going to have a nice big roast gammon thingy. I like that because unlike chicken, you can kind of save it. You can eat some the next day. Doesn't matter whether you eat it a bit cold. It's more practical. And it's not even that expensive. It'd be nice to have a big piece of beef, but the trouble is, a piece of beef that big, that you cook and ends up that big, starts off about £8, whereas a piece of gammon about that big is about £4, and when it's cooked, it's about that big, a lot more. D Mac is here. Hello, Captain Mustard and everyone in chat, and it was a rather excellent standard opening line, I think. Paulie Gulateri, evening, Captain Mustard, and hello, everyone. We're making a difference between what you say to me and everybody else as well. There's no need for that. No need. Paulie Gulateri. That is how you pronounce it, isn't it? Gulateri? Gulateri. Sounds like a type of pasta. As long as no feet are mentioned, says Andrew Buttygig. Well, why? What's wrong with feet? It's a perfectly good unit of measurement as far as I'm concerned. That long, she's losing her touch. The dog is trying to go to the fish tank. The dog is in the other room, Jamster. So the dog can't at the moment. And do you know what? What's really surprising is the dog has shown absolutely no interest in the fish whatsoever. I mean, if it was a cat, obviously it would be there looking at them all the time, wouldn't it? But no, dog, not bothered. She's a strange dog, though. She does like some odd things. I mean, she likes cricket. And 10cc. So, I don't think you could possibly like those two. May I politely decline your offer, Jamster? Thank you very much for the suggestion, though. Well, that was a very nice way of declining that offer, actually. Well done, thank you. Jamster says, actually being older cannot be good because old people always complain. Do they? Oh, when I was your age, blah, 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 blah. That means I can't think of what they say. So, in my conclusion, being older can't be good. Well, it rather depends on how old you are. Because the older you are, the closer you are to not being anything. And that's never really a good thing. But, Jamster, please tell me how old you are, and I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to take a guess at 22. And when you tell me your age, I'm going to tell you something about yourself that you don't currently know. No worries. Yeah. We'll be sure to let you know if I change my mind. Paulie Gulateri. I'll get it right eventually. The problem is living in the north of England. Someone will always call you lad or kid, even when you're well into your 40s or older. True enough. True enough. And I live in the north, and I don't like the word lad or kid or any of these things, or love or any of these terms. I prefer to either call people by their name or by the name I've made up for them. And I think giving people your own personal names isn't such a bad thing. It should be only you that really uses it. There's a chap in the garage next door, young lad. He's only about 20, early 20s or something like this. And I could never remember what he was called. I know now he's called Jacob, but I just started calling him Randy, and that stuck. I mean, I know exactly what he's called, but for me, he's Randy. He's called Randy, yeah? And he answers to it, so he obviously knows who I'm talking about. I think you're the hairy biker's long-lost brother. Which one? Not which brother, but which hairy biker. And then Jamster says it's Jesus. Jesus is the long-lost hairy biker's brother, presumably. That's an interesting thought, because Jesus is everybody's brother, of course, isn't he? Hello from the realm, says Stephen S. Paul. Tongue out, not sure about that. Star, then like a crown, and then a wave. Quite a few things to think about there. Not sure which one to mention. I don't mind being old, says Greenwood, particularly as people never believe how old I actually am. I'm sure it will catch up with me one day, though. Well, that would suggest that you can look younger than what you are for a while, and then eventually you end up looking the age that you are because of it catching you up. I'd always assume that if you're an adult, you're growing up, you're looking a bit younger than what you are. You're always going to look a bit younger than what you are. Usually, age is a reflection on your lifestyle as well, isn't it? On your bad habits, and whether you wear glasses or not. Also, whether you have a beard or hair. Now, imagine if I decided to ditch the hair, but whilst ditching it, dye it black, and ditch the beard, and have a nice, smooth face. One way you could do that one, okay? I would look a bit younger. I know I would. I would definitely look probably maybe 8, 9, maybe even 10 years younger. So why am I not doing it? And the answer is because I don't care. I don't care, really. Why should I? I don't care. If you think I look 50, I don't mind. If you think I look 60, I'm not not too bothered. Why should we be bothered about that? Why should we? If you think I look 55, I don't mind. If you think I look 70, I'm really not too bothered. And this is exactly it. Once you give up on whether it's important or not, you probably stop looking older than what you are anyway. And then you end up being 90 and looking like you're 50. Where was we up to there? Right. Right. Paulie Gulateri says, Jesus would drive a city rover. Now, we've had this kind of discussion before, what kind of car Jesus would actually drive. It definitely wouldn't be a city rover. No. It would be something a bit more comfortable, but not commodious. And it would be something a bit more expensive, but not ostentatious. He wouldn't be driving around in a big Mercedes or something like that. He would probably have a Toyota. He's probably got a Toyota Avensis that he's had from about 4 years old, and now it's like nearly 25 years old. And his attitude, well, it still works. Still works. What's the point in replacing it? And only when the thing breaks down properly, he'll replace it for something else. But I hope he doesn't go for a Toyota Prius. I really do. I would lose interest in Jesus if he was driving around in a Toyota Prius. I can tell you that is the truth. Chocolate Digestive says Jamster, and I don't know why. I really appreciate the Christmas lights going up at PNHQ, says Emma Lemon. Do you? I have been thinking about it for a while, and also a couple of people have said, I bet you keep them up all year. And you know what? Well, I probably will, because I don't want to take them down. That's messing around, isn't it? Whether I'll have them switched on all year, because it is a different matter. But actually, as much as I'm not really a Christmas person, I am a person who likes colour and light and little things to catch my eye. So I think it suits PNHQ. Jesus built my hot rod, says Andrew Buttigieg. That's a brilliant, do you know what? You know, I would like to give people's usernames a mark out of 10. If somebody came up with a channel called Jesus Built My Hot Rod, I would give that a 10 out of 10. That's either Jesus Built My Hot Rod is less of a believable statement than a good band name or a good YouTube username. And if you're not going to have it, I think I want to open up a separate YouTube account just so I could use that. Because that's fantastic. Could it be the first ever 10 out of 10 YouTube name? In my opinion, possibly. This kind of time works out well for me, says Barry. I'm winding down from my work and I'm not about to eat. Can you show us your fish tank, please? Asks Jamster. And you did say please, so I'll have to simply oblige, won't I? But now that now that the fish tank is there and you can see it, I now know what you mean about the dog eating the fish or coming up with the fish because of this dog here. This isn't Wilma. That's just a toy dog. It's not real. It can't. I might have done a stop frame animation at some point to make this thing look like it can run around, but it actually can't. No, it's an inanimate object. It's a very nice inanimate object. Oh, right. Ayoop Savalois says Captain Horsey Doodles. Captain Horsey Doodles. That's a good name. And the profile picture looks a bit like one of those 1970s dog poos, where it's a white dog poo, which apparently is white dog poo is the bread and butter of old style comedians. You're not at that age where you start asking people to guess your age, asks Peter P to the Greenwood. Boaty's lives around the time I'm finishing or about to eat supper, so it's a bit awkward. Well, I could probably manage eating and watching his live stream at the same time, but there's something else a bit more awkward going on at the time normally, which is me still doing some video editing. And I hope all the fishes are okay, must say Stephen S. Paul. Well, all those ones are the ones that are no longer in the tank are. Because there are, whenever you have a fish tank with fishes in, you're going to have a few casualties from time to time. And so the last time the fish tank was indeed seen, there may be, oh no, hang on, I'm thinking of the time before that. The last time it was seen, I think one has gone. But the time before that, probably about 10 have gone, and there's been no new fish in there for a while. Although I am considering possibly a couple more. But we went into Pets at Home the other day, and not to look at anything really specifically, just because it's one of those places where the girls actually like to go, because it has pet things, and the dog's allowed in there. And you can see rabbits, but we had a look at the fishes, and they all look really giddy. Every single one was just like, there's no big fish in here at all, and that's because our fish have started to grow up a bit. And that makes the idea of buying more probably a bit less appealing. I think you need to go to AA meetings, Jamster. I don't really. I've never even used them. I have, but it was a very, very long time ago, and I've had breakdown cover for probably about 6 years and not used them once. So there's very, very little need for me to attend any meetings because I'm definitely not any kind of burden on that particular company. I'm just funding them so they can keep on going and keep on rescuing people who really cannot look after their cars. That is what's going on. Will you be doing mustard and boaty lunch again? Asks Dan Peters. Well, yeah, it's just we've not been able to do them recently, that's all. It's just not really worked out. I've not actually seen him for a couple of weeks. That's unusual, isn't it? And I won't be seeing him next week because he's going off on some sort of special trip out in his big French car around Wales. Sounds rather exciting, doesn't it? I have to Captain Water Doodles. People tend to go, no way, you're that old. I thought you were X age. Interesting. No information was given up there whatsoever. That's very smart of you. Well done. It was the real Marmite brand in Lidl. Now, I've never liked my Marmite myself. Marmite. There's plenty of copies of Marmite. But they're never quite as good. But then nothing's as good as what it used to be either. Do you remember Marmite? Marmite used to be really thick. It was like gear oil. These days, it's just like semi-synthetic, and that isn't the kind of thing you want to put in a sandwich at all. Unless, of course, you've got bread that needs using up, and you may as well mop up your spillages on the garage floor. I worked in Burton-upon-Trent. Their place has very unique smell to it, thanks to the Marmite factory and tyre manufacturers, says Paulie Gualtieri. Yeah, so a combination of yeast and vulcanized rubber. Yeah, I can't even begin to imagine what that would smell like. And to think that there's only one place that does smell like that. Yeah, I mean, you could put that on the tourist attraction website for Burton-on-Trent. Come and smell something that you've never smelled before. Marmite and tyres. I suppose you could replicate it, couldn't you? You could always you could get in your car, do some wheel spins while sniffing a sandwich. And then that's what Burton-on-Trent smells like. I've been there. Now, possibly, you could make the comparison to see whether you can actually get that smell from the comfort of your own high street. And, or not. I don't know. Has anybody ever tried it? Is anybody from Burton-on-Trent and they miss the place so much that what they're doing is constantly making Marmite sandwiches and then doing wheel spins up the high street? I'd be very interested to find out. I missed that. Is the little Marmite cheese nice? The little Marmite cheese. All jokes aside, you're a cool dude, says Jamster. Thank you very much. And Merry Christmas to you too. It's easy enough to be a cool dude when you're a cool dude. Hello everyone, says D-Mac. D-Mac, you were here before, weren't you? How have you been? You came along, wandered off, came back. I don't like food that's had Marmite added to it, says the Greenwood. If I want Marmite, I can add it myself. Marmite foods just taste like Marmite. I've once added a spoonful of Marmite to a soup I made. It's a bit like having Bovril, I suppose. And I wasn't blown away. So I added another spoon, and I thought, still not quite right. So I added another spoon. I thought, it's not too bad actually. And I thought, well, I'll add one more spoon, and it was bloody horrible. It was like just tasted like Marmite. Couldn't taste anything else at that point. So that fine line between not having enough and having way too much is a really difficult thing to balance when it comes to Marmite, or probably any other yeast-based brown product that looks like gear oil. Imagine actually using proper gear oil for this. So, it seems like a rather unlikely thing to do, but you imagine, well, the gear oil, it's the texture rather than the smell. And it has a faint, a distant smell of cat wee, tomcat wee that is, which can also be found in some very hoppy beers. And I once read somewhere that you can tell that a beer is really good because it stinks of cat piss. And I thought it's a rather unusual thing to say, but it's true. It's true. Some of the really, really hoppy, really strong, really nice beers do whiff a bit weird. But where, in that case, if you add in something like actual gear oil or tomcat piss to your soup, do you stop? Do you get to a point where you think, no, that's starting to smell like tomcat piss and not actual leek and potato. I best stop here. But no, it's too late. And because you've crossed the boundary of that particular flavouring that you thought you might need a little bit of, you've got to either throw the whole tin of, well, not the tin, but the whole pan of soup away and start again, or make another half pan of soup, add it to it, and hope that somehow it doesn't become infectious and can just ruin everything that's around it. If it was Marmite, that could possibly happen because it's effectively yeast, so it could grow into something much more significant and much more elaborate and much more scary than anything you've ever seen before. Interesting, eh? Funny smell outside the fish market in Derby too. I couldn't decide if it was a fish or homeless people. Well, obviously, we all know that when you can smell fish, it's going off, isn't it? So you go to a fish market and you can smell fish, you're smelling something that you're not going to buy. Hopefully. That's the smell of the bits that are left over that they didn't manage to wash away properly. I must taste it. Ah, Puttycat is here. Puttycat. 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 Yes, Puttycat. Nice to see you here. I shot my first Thanksgiving turkey this year. Scared the hell out of everyone else in the grocery store. Dear, very good. Well done. Well done. The poo prize has to be a poop scooper, says Dan Peters. But it's not. I do not offer out physical prizes. Just gas. That's it. That's my unique selling point. Gas. You don't get anything else. You just have to really like gas. Now, of course, gas in itself doesn't have a smell. It's the additives, the flavourings that you can smell. And in actual fact, when you can smell somebody's pumps, it's not gas, is it? It's their poo. Yeah, their poo that's kind of been washed along with the gassy stuff as it's come out. Yeah, think about that next time you're having a good sniff. Mustard, please wear a Santa hat on all live streams throughout December, says Emma Lemon. No, I don't want to. If I wanted to, I probably would do, but that's a step too far. And my head would be too warm for a start. If my head wasn't quite the right temperature right now, I'd put on my flat cap. I wore my flat cap yesterday. I quite enjoyed it. And the difference is between a flat cap and a Santa hat is style. Wearing a flat cap, you can kind of feel almost like you're a man of the country or the cobbled streets. But a Santa hat, no. I can't see anybody feeling an improvement through wearing a Santa hat. Even Santa himself, no. I wouldn't like that job. Not at all. The fish market is still there, says Paulie Gulateri. The market hall isn't finished from what I've heard. Puttycat, if there's anyone out there who has no family and is planning to stay home alone this Thanksgiving, please let me know. I need to borrow some chairs. How nice. Mustard, where is your beer? Well, Puttycat, I'm waiting until I get to 27 likes before I can have one. And that could happen at some point. Yeah, bud. Say, some rather strange noises going upstairs now. You're worse than the rest of them. Christmas ham, pork. Pork, yes, pork. Where would you say pork? Pork. Is it a Cockney thing? Pork, yes. All right, like pork. Now, I was, one of my girls quite likes to do Cockney accent from time to time, and I was helping her understand how to do it even better. And you've got to do away with all your TH sounds and replace them with Fs. So 1, 2, 3, and also, yeah, R's are a problem, aren't they? They kind of go into W's ever so slightly. 3. What? I got three or four of those things, and I'm going to get 5 later on. And there's a wabbit. 3 wabbits. Oh, that's not true, is it? All Cockneys, they're not all full of lisps, are they? Have all Cockneys got a speech impediment? Probably not. Is there such thing as a posh Cockney? There's another question that nobody's bothered to ask before, or at least not that I know of, and I have now, and I would really quite like to know. There are quite possibly a couple of Cockneys going on in this live stream right now, and so a serious question, is there such a thing as a posh Cockney? And do you say Cockney with 2 syllables or with 3? Cockney, Cockney. I'd like to know. Yeah, I consider myself spatulated. I have a corgi, says Arnaldo Alvarez. A corgi dog or a corgi car? Hiya, Captain, says Sabrina Quinton. Hello, Sabrina Quinton. Dan Peters, I haven't decided what meat to get for Christmas yet. I wouldn't mind some venison, but it's so dear. There's a joke there, isn't there? Well done, Dan Peters. Well done indeed. Greg Anderson says, love the Range Rover Classic video from the other day. I know, of course you did, with a very good reason too. I always fancied the Range Rover, resembled the... I always thought the Range Rover resembled the R8 and 800. Right now, I can't see that, I'm afraid. Steve asked if you like the Range Rover Classic, but we never got... but we never got the answer. It happens quite a lot, I'm afraid. I am going to have to be a bit more assertive, I suppose, a bit more dominant in the situation there. But usually, rather depending on what things going on, I mean, I will ask questions to him, which he will answer, and then he'll ask me the same question, and sometimes he'll get a chance to answer because he's already talking about something else. You've got to be quick. That's simply it. There's no time for gaps when it comes to conversation with Steve. It just doesn't happen. And what else? There was something else I wanted to say about him, actually. He's actually said that he quite likes working with me because I do actually interrupt him. I wasn't expecting that. Emma Lemon says, I have a large family, so I would need 2 venison, but that's too dear. Groin, boom, to Paul Calf. I don't like cricket, and who does? Does anybody really like cricket? Well, I'll tell you something. I prefer cricket to football, and I don't like cricket. Not particularly. Oh, 16 likes. Come on, let's have another 11, and I can have myself a beer. I love it. There we go. Taking advantage of the 10cc lyric there. Where's Boaty? Asks D-Mac. Well, I presume he's at work. And I might have to point out that we don't live together. No, we don't. If we lived together, do you think he'd be so excited to come and see me? Of course he wouldn't. He'd be fed up with me, wouldn't he? No, he lives 60 miles away from here. Looks like a young Charlie Lansborough. Who does? Surely not me. Surely not me. But as having said that, I don't actually know who you mean. So maybe that's a good thing, or maybe it's not a good thing. and maybe I'll never find out. Boaty's on at 11, Boaty's World. If that's what you meant, then yes, he's always on at 11. You can't keep him off the internet, can you, basically? If 24 was the year of the Streetwise, is 25 the year of the City Rover? That's an interesting question. Who was it that decided it was the year before, the year of the Tourer? It was Simon. Simon and his doings. Smashing Pistons, who's not with us tonight. Going on about the year of the Tourer, then the year of the Streetwise. I don't know. Has anybody really taken it that seriously? Probably not. Because, after all, you can't make the whole nation suddenly want a Streetwise just because you announce it, year of the Streetwise. But I'm going to have to go next year. I'm going to call next year year of the HHR. That's because I've got one. I've got a lovely turquoisey coloured one outside. And I very much enjoyed driving it today. Jesus drives a Granada, says Paul Carf. He doesn't like them. Peter P, what do carpenters usually drive? Transit Connects. That's true. That's not even a joke. That's actually what they drive. Puttycat says, I didn't realise how racist my family was until I brought my black girlfriend home. Thanks. Thanksgiving dinner, my wife and kids hated it. Thank you for that one. That's that's one worthwhile keeping. I might see if I can remember that joke actually. Carol C is here. Hello, Captain Mustard. Hello, Carol C. I fancy a biorb tank, says Emma, but I don't know if they're any good. They just seem so small and go against a large surface area rules. I'm not sure what one is, to be honest. A biorb tank. And obviously, one quick flick onto Google would give me the answer. And you can bet later on I'll be doing exactly that because I don't like people talking about things without me knowing what they're talking about. I like to be in the conversation. I like my finger on the button, my glasses on my head. I do not want to be ruled out of understanding what is going on here or there or anywhere. So I shall find out what that's all about later. Do you have the Hedgehog of Truth? Soft, cuddly toy, asks Carol. No, I don't. Now, I saved the Hedgehog of Truth because the Hedgehog of Truth was happy just to live in the caravan. There's at no point Boaty wanted to take that hedgehog home and say, oh, you're too cold in that caravan. It's time you came home with me to Windy Bottom. No, he was happy to leave it in there. He felt like it was an ally when it came to lunch, and that he had somebody who supported his silly arguments. But now, of course, the caravan's gone somewhere else. As it's done, was not that far away. It's only about 10 miles away from here, actually. Look who we got there, Cassini must have told it over there, I'm sure. On a couple of occasions, going up Blackstone Edge, he actually forgot it was behind us because he was doing about 60 up there. Anyway, yeah, so the only reason he wants the Hedgehog of Truth now is because he can't visit it here. And maybe he thinks that the lockup would be too cold for the hedgehog, and if I brought it here, I would keep it. My concern now is that he's decided he is now the rightful owner of the Hedgehog of Truth, and I will go against that rather vehemently, and the next time I see him, I shall throw down my glove and say, all right, mate, when's the hedgehog coming back? Wants to live in the lockup. What are you two doing?
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, well, you will be. Hi, hello to the community, says Carol C. Boaty kidnapped it, he did. Do you have a hot question for him? Hedgehog of Truth question. I don't do Hedgehog of Truth questions here. I mean, I could pretend. I see what I could do. I could do a pot question, the Poppy of Truth, or the dot question, the Dog of Truth. Although, the thing is, I wouldn't even begin to start taking it seriously, or pretend to be taking it seriously, so it wouldn't really make any difference whether I was holding the dog or not, would it? No. It really wouldn't. No. Heating up stew at the moment, says D-Mac. That's a Marmite smell challenge for you and Boaty to try. But, of course, as I've said, we'd have to come down to Burton-on-Trent, have a good lungful of the smell, then come back up here a long way from the smell, get out the Marmite, which no doubt he won't go anywhere near and he won't taste or even smell, and do some burning rubber, and we can decide between us who can make the most convincing Burton-on-Trent smell. Interesting idea. Oh, there's more interesting ideas to come as well, but this is the wrong channel to be talking about it, so I'm going to have to not talk about it. Cheese on toast is nice. Of course it is. Of course, cheese on toast is possibly one of the best things that you can ever eat. I mean, I don't mean it's the best thing you can ever eat, but one of the most satisfying, snacky, in between a snack and a meal that you can have. You can make a meal of cheese on toast. You just have to have a bit more cheese or a bit more toast than what you normally would really be comfortable with. And then you can fill yourself up and probably think, I should have had something else actually, come to think of it. Major strap-on. Major strap-on is here and says, don't worry, I've arrived. That's good to know. Major strap-on, thank you. Dan Peters, I like many cheeses. Greek feta is lovely, but I don't mind double Gloucester or mozzarella. Yeah. Good. Oh, thank goodness, Major, says Emma. I thought you were never coming. Well, Major Strap-on doesn't like to disappoint, I guess. Let's hope we get some rather interesting stuff on the go quite soon. No, I'm not saying that what's been going on isn't interesting, because of course it is. Of course it's interesting. Is Mustard in charge of his children, or is there another adult in the house? There is another adult in the house. They should be upstairs, that's all. They're not supposed to be wandering down here. It is past their bedtime, and that's it. So, yeah, that's where they should be. Hi, Major. Thoughts on sprinkled dried... Thoughts on a sprinkle of dried dog shit. Beans on toast is my favourite. Well, as we're talking about simple snacks on toast, I'll tell you one of mine. I like pesto on toast. I like cheese on toast as well, but when I have cheese on toast, I don't bother with Worcestershire sauce on there. I don't even bother with mustard. No, I have horseradish sauce. Horseradish sauce on cheese on toast. It is lovely. You should try it. Try it and tell me whether you think it is lovely too, or is it not lovely. And give me your opinion on it if you want to. I think Mustard likes wearing a flat cap because he's trying to copy Steve Berry. Oh gosh, I knew somebody'd say that. I had my flat cap before Steve Berry was even born. I mean, he does suit the flat cap. And I thought I suited it as well. I was wearing my flat cap, not before I'd met him actually, come to think of it, but I first wore it doing a Volkswagen Golf video, which is over a year ago. And I didn't think it suited me as much then. But, you know, I'm getting older. Some things are starting to make more sense to me. And one thing that is starting to make more sense to me is the flat cap. I'm starting to feel that the flat cap is the ultimate in male hat. Okay? Yes. He looks like Santa. Is that me? Do I look like Santa? I didn't think I did. I'm car camping later on, says Paul Calf. I'm not going to get into the car. I'm not going to get the car out of the pub car park. I see what you're saying. You're going to drink yourself into a situation where you're not allowed to drive anywhere and kip in the back seat or on the back seat of the car. Excuse me.
Hi.
It's another hour and 45 minutes before you can misbehave.
Huh?
Guess who's here tonight?
Putty-cat.
Putty-cat, yeah.
Oh, hi, Putty-cat.
Putty-cat, yes. He was here anyway, at least.
Oh.
Yes, he does like Santa. He does like Santa, and that's why I'm so desperate to see him in a Santa hat, says Emma. Carol, see only Mrs. Mustard, the responsible adult in the house.
Wilma's coming in, she's not settling.
Come here, Wilma. No, she can stay in here with me, it's fine.
Can I feed Mama?
No, she's had enough treats and she's had enough to eat, so she doesn't need any more.
Okay.
No, I've thumbed up, not Wilma. Ah, right, I see. Yes. What brand of car or truck do you think Santa Claus drives in the off-season? Well, that rather depends on where Santa lives, doesn't it? A Volvo Estate? That's probably not a bad, actually, suggestion, though. Does he drive a Volvo Estate? Which Volvo, though? Is it an old one? Is it like a 244? Or something a bit more modern, like a V70? Or one of those full of technology to go wrong that what makes Christmas slightly unreliable? Right, okay. I'm laughing so much at pork, it's actually a nickname my ex used to call me. Emma still uses it as a laugh, so now it's been absorbed into the community parlance. Excuse me, would you go upstairs, please? Good night.
I'm just cousin just so Wilma can go in and out of the
No, Wilma doesn't want to go in there, I don't think.
She might do.
Bye. Polo. I say Cockney. Cockney. There's a 2-syllable word, major strap on, not 3. Okay, own up which ones of you guys are Cockneys? Are there any? Right, Wilma, are you coming in or staying? Where are you going? Just trying to get some doggy decisions here. Do you want to go in here then? Come on. Go on. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh. Ow! Do you know how many times I do that? I never bang my elbow on this unless I'm sat here. But when I am sat here, I seem to do it quite a lot. Right, okay. Stephen S. Paul says, we don't have any Cockneys here in the States, let alone out here in the desert. Well, why would a Cockney go and live in the desert? What kind of an ease-up could you have there? Major strap-on. Mustard, you would fight another... would you fight another YouTuber? Kung Fu Kev for charity. Yeah, I would. Why not? Are you missing Officer Crabtree? Asks Paulie Gulateri. Not really. I mean, I did really like that car, but you move on to something else. And besides the one major cock-up with the one car's gearbox failure, the other two are fine. Well, I mean, one of them that I've still got is fine. Just wish someone would buy it. That's the Freelander I'm talking about. I've got a Land Rover Freelander for sale, and for some reason, nobody wants it. Well, hello there. What a nice surprise, says Dino Dad. Dino Dad is also known as Ross, because that's his name and he lives in Australia. Nice to see you, Ross. Hi, Ross. Rainy your way. Oh, there's a new name. CC Motion 1998 was good fun, whatever that means. Oh, no. What was that name I suggested that would be the best YouTube name ever? Was it Jesus Built My Hot Rod? I'd be so happy to see that name come up somewhere. Will there ever be a Year of the L series, asks Stephen S. Paul, or the other famous engines in the later Rover cars? Only if you decide so. The Year of the K series. But these so far, as decided by Mr. Smashing Pistons, are cars, not engines. So, probably not. It wouldn't work, would it? Pissing down Andrew, driving to work. Happy, aha, the poppy of truth, the pot, says Emma. Ooh, says Andrew, butty geek. Take care, Ross. It stopped raining about an hour ago here, so hopefully clear up for you. Oh yeah, of course. Andrew, also in Australia. Now, what I don't know is how far away apart Andrew Butty Geek and Dino Dad are. Because they're in the same country, yet if you're in Britain, you wouldn't assume that you're going to be a neighbour of mine, would you not? Because England and then Great Britain, the extended part, is a huge place. But guess what? Australia's even bigger. And there's a good possibility that they could live 1,000 miles apart, maybe even more. I saw a picture the other day that showed Melbourne. Melbourne's in the south. Melbourne is closer to Antarctica than it is Darwin. And I thought that's quite fascinating. Quite fascinating indeed. Major strap on. I don't think there will ever be many cockneys here, probably drinking Stella and shouting at their wives. Beer and burning rubber, just another thought, just another night at the western suburbs pub. But you're not really supposed to mix those two, are you? I'll be back in 10. Got to load my van, says Dino Dad. What are you going to load it with? What are you going to load it with? Oh, and I'm getting closer and closer to my target of 27 likes where I can have myself a beer. If only that could happen, because I'm getting quite thirsty now. Right, it's time I got on with my evening routine, which has been delayed by an hour, says Emma Lemon, which is, well, going for a crap, isn't it? Majid Motagi. Majid Motagi. That's a new name. Aren't you from Iran? How cool is that? Excellent. I don't think I've had anybody from Iran here before. Hello, welcome to the live stream. Oh, Rockin' Ox Productions. I had a cold and someone put horseradish on my roast beef sandwich. Did it help, or did it not make any difference? That's the really the question, isn't it? I don't think it actually gets rid of colds or anything of that kind. Oh, look, Carl Davis is here. Hello, Carl Davis. Carl, have you got your car back home yet? Your rather super duper new car. Marmalade on toast is nice. Do you remember toast toppers out of a tin? Oh, gosh. Yeah, I do actually. Toast toppers. That kind of brings back some rather disturbing memories, actually. I don't mean of anything other than eating something which now look back on and think, why would anybody eat that? Now, did I mention a while back when I think Boaty was going on about Fray Benter's pies all the time, and he managed to get a whole load of people into eating Fray Benter's pies? I don't know how. I certainly didn't. I saw one in an aisle in Morrison's. And this aisle was full of all sorts of products that seemed to be from the past. So like that, like the sandwich spread, that kind of looked a bit like mucus with bits of cucumber in it, and salmon paste, beef paste in those little jars about that big. I remember those on sandwiches at school, and to the idea of eating something like that now really just makes me cringe. But was it all that bad, really? Has anybody eaten anything else like that recently? Or is it just me not wanting to do? Obviously, the popularity of stuff like that, as you see in shops, is very, very low. Could it just be a fashion thing? Or could it be that actually Britons in general have got wise to that nasty stuff? Please don't put me on your roast beef sandwich, says Captain Horsey Noodles. No repeats, please. Look out, you're going to get sandwiched, Horsey Noodles, says Peter P. Hello, Wilma. Wilma. We must be almost catching up here. Mustard, do you still send Christmas cards to your enemies that have been impregnated with anthrax? Well, I don't know anyone who's been impregnated with anthrax. Paulie Gulateri. I never found out whether that is how you pronounce that. Santa would drive a late model 960 Estate in red with grey leather interior. I agree. I reckon he would do. Oh, well, not would do. He does, of course, because he does actually exist, doesn't he? Yep. And I know he exists because I can imagine a car like that. Puttycat says, my pizza is burnt, my beer is frozen, my girlfriend is pregnant. I can't pull anything out inside. Santa has a Volvo 245 red block turbo, the indestructible engine. You can whack a turbo into it and actually make it go somewhere and be fairly sure it's not going to break it. I'm a Lancashire laugh living in exile in Northumberland, says Carol C. A red flying brick called Wilfred. Mustard, make a call-out video for Kung Fu Kev. Do I have to? Doesn't seem like the kind of thing I would do, really. I don't pick fights. I've never picked a fight. I mean, I might shout at someone if I think they're being annoying. I might make my annoyances clear, but I don't. I've never gone up to somebody and just hit them. Well, I have, but it was in self-defense. So that's not really going to happen. Oh, a brick called Wilfred merch sticker for my Volvo, says Peter P. But you're on the wrong channel. That was never my thing. That was Boaty's most successful video where he was trying to copy me. There's probably some guy living in Mexico called Jesus who builds hot rods in his spare time, says Paulie Gulatari. Yeah, I reckon you're probably right. You know, that's taking the shine off it. That's a little bit like explaining the fishing forecast to me. It no longer has the same appeal. So I'd like to say thank you, but now I'm not as interested in that name anymore. Andrew Butty Geek. I remember the bricks being used as touring cars here in Oz in the 1980s. Kick some bums. Yeah, I remember that. Well, I wasn't really watching it at the time. You've had all the best touring cars. Jesus rode a Harley Davidson, says Carl Davis. Davies. Sorry, not Davis. Davies. Have I done that before? Have I mispronounced your name and called you Davis rather than Davies? If so, I'm sorry. Probably not the kind of thing that would really offend you or anything. Your ratio of people to watching and likes is very impressive, says Carol C. Well, is it? Because, you know, people come and go, don't they? I mean, often somebody could come along and think, right, well, I'd like to be supportive, but I haven't got the time and I'm not really interested. But I'll just press the like and then I'll go. I don't have to feel guilty about leaving then. Ah, right. I've just had a notification telling me that I've made a video. Me and Ross are in Melbourne in the west. Ah, right, I see. He's probably based in the eastern suburbs, so probably 20 or 30 kilometres approx apart. 42, in fact, is the distance. 42. There we go. I mean, from where I am here, 42 miles west would actually get me to the coast. 42 miles east would get me only 20 miles off the coast. Or, no, it'd be a bit more than that. I think it's about 90 miles to the coast from here. Yeah, right. But anyway, you see the point that in England, it's very easy to fall off. Mushroom toast toppers, like baby sick. Finder's pancakes, Finder's crispy pancakes. I'll have you know the Greenwood. A crispy shell, also filled with baby sick. Now, I think the crispy pancakes thing might be the one thing that I do have fond memories of. I actually quite like them. It's an interesting texture, the pastry, see, and whatever they put inside there, they weren't really too concerned with what it looks like, but as long as it tasted okay. And you can manage that with the right amount of salt or MSG, and they'd have been perfectly free to do as much as they wanted at the time. Toast toppers were disgusting, says Carol C. Sandwich spread that was heavy on gherkins. Oh, is it gherkins, not cucumber? Spam, like sliced cat food, says Carl Davis. Yeah, but spam's one of those things that's never really gone away. That's always, it's been retro disgusting food for such a long time. And maybe you can do things with it to stop it from being quite so hideous that people carry on doing it, and it's always been available. Ah, right, I see. I know, I'll come to that in a second. Santa would drive a larder, says Paul Calf. I don't think so. Ooh, I like spam, says the Greenwood. Spam fritters, I don't eat it any more than once a year because they're bad for you. Are they bad for you? I didn't know they were bad for you. I thought they were just horrible. Paul King of level 42 has a Spanish cousin called Juan. That reminds me of one of my favourite inoffensive jokes that somebody told me on a live stream, which was, how many Spanish electricians does it take to change a light bulb? Just one. I pronounce my name Davis, says Carl Davies. See, there's the problem. You don't even know how to say your own name. I've had a notification that Boaty is on in half an hour. Oh gosh, yeah, he is, isn't he? It's 10:30. That might make me feel a bit like I'm being pushed out, but it doesn't. It doesn't. I'm not really getting the numbers that I did the other day from doing a vertical live stream. Maybe it only works if you're in a situation where you can't see what you're doing and nobody can see you, and it makes more likely not to click away. Back again, hey Carl, same Carol, I think all phones pinged. Hey up, Ross, how's it going, mate? Right, okay. I'm now horizontal, says Emma, and it won't be long before I'm snoring. There was so much wrong in the 1970s besides the food and drink and Dwight dog shit, says Paulie Guillotine. An alcoholic wakes up in jail. He asks the first police officer, says Putty Cat's a Putty Cat joke, why am I here? For drinking, replies the officer. Great, says the man. When do we start? Finder's crispy pancakes, the ham and cheese one was my fave. Way better than my mother's home cooking. Do you know what the problem was? In the 70s, men didn't cook. And it seems to have become rather clear that men are just more natural in the kitchen than what women are. And so, anyone growing up in the 70s had mummy's own cooking, and it was never really very good. You could only really rely on grandma to do like a nice roast potato and some proper Yorkshire puddings. But what happens then is that the young men of the family had some sort of an interest in cooking. I've seen it so many times. All the people I know that can cook are men. Is there any truth in that, or am I just making it up? Because it certainly feels like it. Right, bollocks to boaty. Right, I see. Busy like lizard drinking calm. Spam is very processed. Yeah, of course it is. Oh, and hello, Simone. Simone's here as well. Spam is very processed, as the Greenwood. It's then you batter it, deep fry in veg oil. It's even worse, but delicious. That is bad news. Yeah. I like spam, says Simone. Bollocks. I got over 1,500 views on my last live stream. Boasts Emma. Well, this is the thing. It's not fair, is it? You know, you're new to this. I'm not, and you're getting more views than me. How does that work? How is that fair? Who can I talk to about this? Who can I complain to? Nobody. Mustard are you tonight's fluffer? If you like, yeah, I suppose. Oh, hooked on classics. It's been welding again tonight. How much more is there to do on that old Cortina? I thought you'd done nothing but weld that car for the past year. It must be quite solid by now. I'm doing my first live stream tomorrow at 11 a.m. Bring coffee and your knitting, says Carol C. If that's what it's going to be about. I wish I could join, but I'll be volunteering, says Simone. What are you looking for? Have you done a spillage?
There's dirty stuff on the couch. I'm assuming it's from Luna.
I don't know if she'd been on the couch.
She hasn't.
Putty Cat. Mustard, I hope you have a great rest of your night. See you again soon. Thank you very much for joining me, Putty Cat. It's good to see you again. My hubby is a chef and I'm a cook, but he can't do puddings, cakes and pastries, says Carol. Sorry, I've got a bit confused in the comments there. Sparkle stick action. Bad news, says Major Strap On. I'm banned from my local home bargains for squeezing a full tube of Primula cheese into my mouth and trying to run off. Carl Davis says, my missus can cook, but not simple things like roast dinner. She puts everything at okay at the same time. Right. Chicken an hour and a half and peace for an hour and a half. Equals shit dinner. Right, I see. Emma's live stream was over 4 hours long and went until about 2 a.m. You need to do the hours if you're going to get the views. Yeah, I can't do that, though. I can't do that. I'd be interested to know if there was a period going on there where you had just your regular people, and suddenly it shot up to 200 for a while and then disappeared again. Because that's what I've experienced with it. That's where you think, oh, it's all exciting, it's all rather wonderful. But not for long, that's the trouble. Right, okay. Simone's been at college doing welding. Maria, I'm new here. What is the content? And Dino Dad answers that with BS, which is very, very helpful. Thank you very much. Right, okay, and I think that that is going to be me finished for the night, because that's usually the challenge. Talk for a bit, then read some comments out. By the time I finish reading them, it's time to go. But I will come back and do some more on another day, and hopefully it won't be as cack as this one. But so thank you very much, everyone, for being here tonight. Thank you for those that pressed the like, and thank you for any new subscribers that may have come along. I don't think they will have done tonight, though. But I'll see you again soon. Bye.